Hello, hello. How you doing? How are we? The next day. We're here. We're alive. The sun is out. You made it. You still breathing? How are we? Everybody. Shane, Chris, Connor, Kevin, 50, Diane, KF, Brianna, Naveen, Harmon, Connor. How we doing today? Felt so low. Probably worse for you because of the time zone. Oh man. I got to talk it out. By the end of the day, it was alright. United has me drinking midday, and it's okay. Kombucha. Gotta keep your gut sorted well, huh? It's good for you. Need some positivity. Are we fucked up? It's got time. Arteta on his Ten Hag gimmick, all that. Yeah. It's all good, everybody. Indigestion. Kombucha. A little bit of apple cider vinegar and some kombucha. That'll be good for your gut. Is Angry James in the room? No, I'm done being angry for now. Give me at least a few minutes to get into my rhythm, and then maybe I'll get angry again. I think I let it all out yesterday. I generally control myself pretty well. Zorro, thank you for gifting 5 memberships to the community. It means a lot. People always here doing stuff like that. I really appreciate it. I really thank you. I got to thank you all yesterday for joining me. Any Master News Boss, Tabi, maybe. I will get to some things, okay? The resurrection, it's taking a long time. It's taken a long time, KP. It's taken a long time. Although I think you don't like me, so you're probably using that to give me to beat me with a stick. But seriously, I gotta thank you guys. I gotta thank you guys for being here, because yesterday, yesterday, obviously, emotions were high. 1,000, 1,200 people sat there with me, feeling that, being a part of this. Everything. People donated way too much money yesterday to send me messages and things like that, during the videos. And I mean, I'm not complaining in the slightest. It was amazing, and I do appreciate all of you guys so much. And thank you again, Zorro, for gifting those 5 memberships. Brenna is not the same as Brianna. Brenna O'Leary, welcome to the Pro Muppet, and thank you very much. And I will have a video for some of you guys a little bit later today in the Pro Muppet and the memberships. But yeah, really does mean a lot. And yes, Tubbs, I will talk about some of that in a minute here, okay? Yeah, so thank you all. I really appreciate you donating money just to yell things. Yep, and apologize for any eardrums. Ritik, hello. I apologize for any eardrums. Yesterday you put Osimhen in our team for next year. Is that pure emotions? Oh, absolutely. Fame, if we sack Amram, another back 3 manager, and who? Maybe not. I don't think that, I don't think that this back 3 thing is such a big deal that people are making it out in terms of building the team. I really don't think it's a big deal, guys. I mean, look, the mic grab. Look, the you've got a back 4 teams going to back 3 teams. What's the difference? Maguire's played in a back 3, he's played in a back 4. Lenny's played in a back 3, back 4. Delict back 3, back 4. It doesn't change that much. I mean, the midfield in the back, there's many different midfield systems in there, in back 3s. They can all be different, but like Amarim's 2 mostly reflect the 2 in a 4-2-3-1. They're hardly any different as well. So there's really, it's really not that big a deal. Gotta tell you, the only position that I think gets really affected by it is the wingbacks. Like, you don't want to buy wingbacks. I don't want us to buy like wingback. Like, I didn't want us to buy Frimpong because I don't think he fits that. KF gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Goddamn. What the hell? Appreciate that. We can talk about that game model conversation earlier. Damn. KF giving memberships to 10 people now. That is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Wow, appreciate that. But yeah, look, I think that, wow. Again, thank you. Things like, Kabi is affected most by the back three. I hear you on that, Josh. However, a back four doesn't mean a midfield three either. You know what I mean? Kabi was having a rough go of it in the 4-2-3-1 when we started the season out under Ten Hag, playing next to Eriksen. You know what I mean? So like he was playing him, but that was mostly just because he didn't like Ugarte and Casemiro. Why are you putting Joker's pick on the thumbnail? Do we still have a chance? Maybe. Yeah, I'm look, I'm gonna be real to you guys. This is gonna be a real video. I won't be grabbing the mic because it's up here, not down here, and it's a little more, it's a little more questionable to grab this microphone for me. It's not a good look. I gotta maintain, my dignity. So don't worry about the mic grabs. But I'm also going to be I'm not gonna give you, like, I'm not gonna go crazy with the I'm not I'm not gonna go crazy giving you guys like false hope on things like that. I'm gonna be real. It's not like amazing, but there's certainly obvious reasons to be hopeful. There's certain realities that we can deal with. Connor O'Reilly says, I'm relieved Jason Wilcox's eyes will save us. I assume that's sarcastic, but I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be sarcastic. I don't think you should be sarcastic. I don't. I think that, any thoughts on the club finances? Yeah. So, okay. But thank you again, KF, for those memberships, and thank you, everybody. So what did I want to discuss today? Summer sales, financials, striker, more signings, things like that. Sarcasm is your native tongue. Yes, it is. Let's get to it then, shall we? While you're here, while you've joined us, please like the stream, all of that, spread it around. We're gonna have so much of this over the next few weeks and into summer and things like that. But let's talk about summer. We'll go to some financials in a minute. Karan Sharma, thank you for the donation. If you had a message, send it again without a donation. I'll read it out for you. So I made a video in February called PR or PSR that said United's finances explained. This was 3 months ago, and I told you then that they planned for the inevitability that appeared at the time that we would not have any Europe, because you got to realize, these things are done well ahead of time. These things are planned well ahead of time. These things are looked at well ahead of time, and despite what you may think, obviously we kind of knew this was coming. Winning Europa was never the most likely outcome. Apparently your membership expired. Let's go. I don't know. Is there going to be a PowerPoint? Yeah, there will be, but not today, but soon. But we can look at a PowerPoint here really quick, one that I made before. And it said, I was talking about the estimated budget when it comes to without Europe, right? This was it. All right. This was the budget that we were looking at without Europe. Estimated wage savings, Eriksen, Lindelof, Evans, the sale of Sancho resulting in 15 million amortization removal. Now, we don't know if that sale of Sancho is necessarily included in this or not. However, they have made further cuts that I think maybe include it, maybe don't. I wouldn't worry about it. Regardless, the expectation was that we'd have about 90 to 100 million in fees, and we could afford about 300K a week in wages between all of these things. Jonathan Hammond, 10 more gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that. Again, thank you. Karen Moonman, JMA, Retik, Chopper, Chris Roy, Nawachukwu, Jas, and Khalil. There you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. That's the second time you've done that this week, I think. So again, thank you very much. So that's what they were planning for. Now, obviously, we gave the example at that time of Quenda and a striker. And we essentially decided, once we missed out on Quenda to Chelsea, that we would shift all of that budget towards the front. Luke, with our new budget, is Cunha even worth it? Yes. Look. Yes. Jonathan gives 30 on Saeed's stream. Only to... No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate that. That's really nice, Jonathan. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. Very kind. But no, Cunha is worth it because Cunha is the exact types of players that we need to get. I needed to listen to your live yesterday to calm down. Really needed the meltdown. Yeah, it helps. It helps. Is our position on Garnacho sale weakened by his post-game comments? Not weakened, but we'll talk about that. We have this money. Right now, if you look at it, we can do... This is Cunha right here. About half of these wages. All about the community. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, and I agree. I agree. One way or another, we all can share and have different opinions, different views, and everything. But the truth is, there's a lot of us that are really just want the club to be successful. They want us to win again. We all will have different ways of viewing that, but we all want the same thing at the end of the day, for the most part. I don't think there's too many people that are just purely in it for themselves, and I think that there's a lot of good people here. So, Cunha eats this bit up. Delap is essentially the other bit, right? That's what we can afford without any sort of sales. That's the budget that we've got. Now, we do, that was, so yes, I know you are Shatters. I'm just kidding. When you look at all of these panic, we lost X amount of money. We lost 150 million. We lost 200 million. We lost $1 billion. The club is in a hole. The share price is dropping. Catastrophe. It's Black Monday or Thursday, whatever. We already knew this was happening. Like, again, there's a little bit of like, you can criticize people, Ineos, these types of guys, for many, many things. But I tell you what, they're not. They're not stupid with their money. They do understand how business works. They do understand financial models. They do understand how to forecast 6 months ahead of time. They do understand all that. Of course, it doesn't make it okay, but they do know the finances. So none of this will come as a shock. None of this will come as a surprise. None of this will come as a, well, now we don't know what to do with our money. None of this is changing our plans. None of this is really doing any of that. What it means is simply, remember I said long ago, the way that they approach their squad building concept here is it's not 3 ins, 3 outs, 5 ins, 5 outs, this position, that position. It's what are all the things we need to do to fix this club? What is everything we need to do positionally, everywhere? And then we'll go step by step, 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 by step. Okay? And the more money you have, the further through those steps that you can get. The loss of money from Champions League simply means we can't get as far along in our plans as we wanted to get. That can be offset by sales, right? Because there is enough value in the squad from a selling perspective that would allow you to do more things. Realistically, the Champions League makes us net like 40 to 50 million, okay? Because when you talk about, 80 million, 90 million, something like that, that's all well and good. but you do have costs associated. You have more players get paid based on games as well. So you usually every game is costing you, I don't know, it's a significant amount, but games are costing you a couple million a game. Okay, like that's the truth of it. Between salaries, between wages, between I'm talking about staffing, like for the games and things like that, for travel, for everything. Games are costing you a couple £1 million. So the net, I think, that you're gaining from additional games is probably about half. So it's significant. It's significant. You're probably going to get 45 million from that. So can we make that amount up with sales, with extra sales? For sure. Losing 200 million, no. I mean, look, yeah, no, it's just not the case. But still, it's significant. There's no doubt about that. Don't get me wrong. Okay, it's significant. Champions League would have helped us a lot. The biggest question, or the biggest drawback from missing on Champions League, less than the money, is who we miss, who we cannot get. Karen McGuire says it's 120 million loss supposed to. Yeah, but that's gross. There is a net amount that you make underneath that. But look, like we could make 10 million more just by winning at the weekend and going up to like 15th, 14th or something. You know what I mean? The bigger challenge, though, the bigger problem is who can we attract? Who can we sign that maybe we would have been able to sign with Champions League, but now we can't. That is that's always played up a little bit more than reality, I have to say, because every single summer, people say you need XYZ needs Champions League. Most of the time, it's not really true, but it depends on the alternatives that are available. It depends on, what options that those players have. Okay, so we'll talk about Gyökeres and a striker a little bit later, because I'm not actually positive that it's going to be that problem, that's much of an issue, for him. But we'll see. I don't know. I cannot say for certain as yet, but it doesn't totally change. We were able to get Lenioro without Champions League. We were able to get De Ligt, Mazraoui. I mean, if you just look at the players who left teams, was every single one, was Xerxes in the Champions League? Did maybe they were just in maybe they weren't. But most of our signings came from teams that were actually in the Champions League. PSG, Bayern, and then I think Lille had qualified for it. It happens a lot, though. There's players who comes from significant teams, significant leagues, all of that. Anyway, significant teams, significant places, and a lot of times they qualified before he left. Okay, and a lot of times they moved to a different club. At the end of the day, Europe and Champions League are 1 year. I still personally think it's quite short-sighted on a player perspective to even consider 1 year to be that big of a deal. Hold on, let's see. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Would we still get Jokeris at the sale of Carreras? Maybe, and I will talk about that in a minute, Karan. Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, this is the window. These are the players that Chelsea signed after finishing 12th. Am I wrong? Did I get the season wrong? This is the year they finished 12th. Were they in the Champions League? Oh my god, the ads on this website, dude. This is the year after they got 12th? Okay, so this is the year after they got 12th. It doesn't change much, does it? Caicedo, Lavia, Nkunku, Cole Palmer, Tizassi, Jackson, Ugochukwu. It doesn't change that much, does it? Owen Thompson, please tell me Onana will leave. Maybe. So this is the year. So this is the summer. No, I hear you on the money. I'm talking about the players. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference? Chelsea doesn't kill off your... I gotta disagree with you there, IR. Chelsea have been a graveyard for talent. Just as much as us. They have a lot. But don't mistake my problem. Don't mistake my point here, guys. I hear you. I'm not saying we have 400 million to spend. I'm not saying that we will do all of that. What I'm saying is they brought these players in. The players came. The players joined. I'm talking about the ability to convince targets. You know what I'm saying? Money talks, not Champions League. Chelsea don't offer crazy wages. I mean, they got 44 points, so they were like us. Chelsea, I believe it or not, Chelsea don't offer crazy wages. I know that sounds wild, but they don't offer crazy wages. They probably offer lower wages than we do, if I'm not mistaken. Even still, I know they have 8-9 year contracts, but they still, don't offer that crazy of wages. The last time we missed Europe, I believe we signed Anthony Martial, Schneiderlin, Depay, Schweinsteiger, and Sergio Romero. From if I'm not mistaken, just in terms of how we were able to attract people, but we were just a couple years removed. From Champions League, but that was the Midfield summer, right? Let me just check something. I'm curious now. Liverpool finished 8th in 2015-2016. Who did they get after that? I mean, we're going a ways back here now. I mean, look, we could use other examples. Right? We could certainly use other examples. I'm not gonna say that's it, but shit squad, shit ownership, might be good manager. I'm still dreading it, not gonna lie. I swear to God, if I see Delap instead of Wissa or Mateta. I'm sorry, Dwayne, but I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree with you. No. Forget the dead broke thing. Liverpool signed Mane, Wijnaldum, Klavan. Well, yeah, he's shit. But they signed Matip, Wijnaldum, and Mane. I still have trouble pronouncing that. I can't get the J right. Wijnaldum. Anyway, he was a great player for them in the end, right? Um, they signed good players as well in that important players during that window when they were finished 8th as well. So the J is silent. Wijnaldum. It's just Wijnaldum, right? So I always Wijnaldum. There you go. I always try to overdo it and then I mess up the pronunciation. It's just Wijnaldum. Yeah, it's just Wijnaldum. Money talks. Guys. Please logic with me here, okay? All they spent was 80 million euros, 80 million pounds that summer. Okay, what I'm saying is, did they attract the players or not? No, we do have money. Please stop. Please stop with this. We have money. We're buying Cunha for. We don't even have to go to any other clubs for an example. We're agreeing to sign Cunha for 62 million pounds. Please stop telling me we don't have money because you're wrong. We have money. Cunha is joining. Cunha is joining. Okay? Cunha is joining. Please understand. Cunha is joining without Champions League, without Europe. And we obviously have the money. We don't even have to go to any other team or any other example. We have the money, okay? We just do, all right? Newcastle signed Alexander Isak in 2022. Sven Botman, Matt Target, Nick Pope. They signed Bruno Guimaraes and Chris Wood the year before. Kieran Trippier, Dan Burn the year before that. It's okay. You can get good players outside of Europe. It's who can we not get? Okay? Who can we not get? Who we definitely cannot sign. I promise you the wages we offer are still higher than Liverpool's, all right? I promise you that, okay? Liverpool are a really low wage structure. Jason, thank you and welcome to the Pro Muppet. We can sign these guys, all right? We can sign these types of players. We can. We can get the money. The money is not the problem there. It's how we convince people. I think the only people we really cannot convince are who's not going to join us? Mbappe. Who's not going to join us? Lamine Yamal. Who's not going to join us? Probably some old ass dudes who have a few years left at top level. Who's definitely not joining us? Anyone from fucking Italy or people who are in the middle of, who are doing well on these teams that are qualifying for the Champions League in England right now. Osimhen. We're not going to sign Rodrigo. We're not going to sign, just looking at the players on the move, and stuff like that. We're not going to sign those players. And Mbumo, no, I disagree. And Mbumo may end up joining us. He's an option. Wirtz is not going to join us. Guys who, all of that. Bro, I just realized Onana might have fallen down the pecking order of get rid. If I laugh, I'll cry. Another shit fraud that we'll have to rely on. Stop it. Relax, Dwayne. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I don't think Gyökeres falls into that category because you have to recognize something. You play most of your games in the league, all right? You play most of your games in the league. Players will go from a lower league to a better league without European football. It happens all the time. Okay? I mean, you look at someone like Cunha. He went from Atletico to Wolves, right? If I'm not mistaken. But players will go from a smaller league to a bigger league. I'll talk about that Sancho thing in a minute, Richie. A smaller league to a bigger league without Europe because it's a more competitive place. It's a more it's just what it is. People will the Premier League itself is a huge draw. United is a huge draw. Money is a draw. You know what I'm saying? So it matters. It does matter, and I think that we will still be able to get people. The biggest factor is competition. Guys who want to move, the question becomes, what is the competition for them? And if we are competing with Arsenal, are we in trouble? Yes, that's the point. Agreed. Okay. But if we're not, then the possibility of signing those players goes up a lot. Okay. Then it gets significantly better depending on the competition. Okay. So that's my point. You can sign players, but sometimes you do have to move in different like markets. You have to, you might have to fight over some different players. Some players will choose us, some won't. Look, if we're in, here's the thing. Here's the truth. You ready for the truth? This is the truth bomb about Manchester United, and hopefully it's still true today. If we're in Champions League, everybody picks us over the other English teams. We've never had a problem convincing people. We've never had a problem winning. We don't genuinely lose. We generally never lose out to other Premier League teams when we compete, when we're in Champions League. When we're not, it's 50-50. But it doesn't mean we can't get those people. It's still the Premier League. It's still United. We still pay good money. It still does a lot for their brand. It still does a lot for their image. It still does a lot for their overall career. It still does a lot in that front. The biggest fan base and everything. Are Arsenal looking at Šeško so is there a chance Gyökeres joins United? Yes, and we will talk about that because that is the exact point I want to get to later on this, right? Yeah, we did sign Di Maria from Champions League winning Madrid as well. Not that he was particularly happy about that. But look, we can do deals. We have 100 million to spend. Now, how are we going to get more money? We need sales. We definitely need sales. There's no doubt about that. Who will we sell? Who will we sell? Let's look. Who's at the top of our? Hold on here. Let's go by wages. All right. How do you catch up the best teams when we signing Mbumos while they're signing Wirtz and Rodrigo? Well, first of all, Wirtz isn't going anywhere. I'm about 90% sure that Florian Wirtz is staying in Germany. Okay? I'm pretty positive that he's staying in Germany. Secondly, are you sure? Are you sure Rodrigo is that good? I think Mbeumo is better than Rodrigo in the Premier League. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you asked me today which one would I pick, I would probably pick Mbeumo right now. No doubt about that. In fact, I don't even think I would question it. I'd pick Rodrigo. I'd pick Mbeumo over Rodrigo. That's my opinion on that. Mbeumo's a really good player. I mean, Cunha's a really good player. Cunha's a really, really good player. I'd probably pick Cunha over Rodrigo right now. Antony's got better numbers than Rodrigo in the in La Liga right now. Rodrigo's clear of Martinelli. Yeah, Martinelli's crap, but Antony's got better numbers than Rodrigo, man. Like, Antony's good in La Liga. Antony's killing it in La Liga. I don't know, man. I missed Sammy's super chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Hope we've all calmed down the day after the night before. Hopefully we can pull a Newcastle next season and rise up the table with quickness. Yes, hopefully. Thank you, Sammy. I'm sorry I missed that. But yes, hopefully. Thank you for that, Naveen. Thanks for pointing that out for me. Like, Cunha's good, man. I don't know. I'm not saying Rodrigo is bad, but don't play down Prem Proven, right? But yeah, let's look at our team. I want to look at wages because you have to look at the effect that can be had on the team by replacing some of these players. Let's say Casemiro goes. He's got it's 18 million a year for Casemiro that it frees up. I mean, you realize how insane that is, okay? Casemiro is a massive amount of money. 18 million a year. Even if we sold him for free, how would that help us? Let's see. Right now, Casemiro is costing us, I think, between his wages and between his amortization, they're close enough. I'll adjust them if they're not that close. 18 million and 15 million. It's okay, Ramon. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day. He's costing us like 30 million a year right now. If you could sell him, yeah, 33 million. So it's a lot. If you can move him on somehow, Sammy, thank you for joining. If you can move him on, it saves an insane amount of money. This is if you can figure out how to move Casemiro on. You're talking about, I mean, just the wages alone. Let's say somehow you sorted the fee out or something. You could make back. Fuck me, man. I mean, I don't know. What are we really talking about here? Like, you've got an estimated bonus too, yeah. But look, I mean, this is a 50 million player right there, a 50, 60 million player right there. You can buy that, and that's yearly. That's the thing about the wages being gone, right? Is that is a yearly. That's not a one-time thing because you're not talking about a one-time profit. Casemiro has the biggest effect on things because he pays for it not just once, but all over the whole 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Because that drop goes through the whole time. So you can make a big one there. If you can somehow loan out or get Mason Mount's wages covered, that would make a big difference. Ericsson, that's included in the money leaving. Sancho, let's say that's included. If there's a way to move Luke Shaw, then that makes a big difference. If you can even loan him or something like that. Lindelof, that's included in the money leaving already. Pavlidis fits the profile of an experienced striker. Amram is familiar with him from Liga Primera, and he scores goals in the biggest moments. I just haven't heard the name, so I can't say that we would go for him, but I appreciate that as a suggestion. 100 million would be the total outlay. Rodrigo helps attract players like Mass Antuono in the future. We don't attract South American talent until we bring more of their hometown favorites in. Yeah, but Cunha does that. Cunha does that. I don't disagree with you, and I would love to get some more of those guys, but Cunha does that. I mean, Cunha's a good player for Brazil. That would be good. We could get more guys like that. That would be nice. You know, so I don't disagree there too. That would be nice. It would be nice. If you can move these guys off, though, that's fine. The money, don't worry about the money. I'm telling you, don't worry about the cash. Just don't worry about the cash. It's too complicated to explain. I wouldn't worry about the cash. Rashford, most of his wages are gone, but if we sell him, there's 30 or 40 million. Now, it's 75K per week because that's what we still owe on the loan. That's what we're paying. You know what I mean? That's what we're paying. But yeah, because he's on a loan at the moment. The biggest sales, 100 million. Just think of it as a budget. I'm just telling you, just think of it as a budget. Don't worry about the math. Just think of it as the budget. Don't overcomplicate it. I'm trying to explain it in simple terms. Just think of it as the budget. We can spend 100 million. Okay. The biggest ones are Rashford, Antony, Garnacho. In terms of what they can do for us. With Antony, because we pay like 15 million a year on his amortization or something, if we can get 30 million from Antony as a sale, then we're able to buy a whole nother player as well. Like that funds an entire other purchase in addition. So, you know, some of those sales can be absolutely huge. Okay, so I would suggest that between Rashford, Garnacho, and Antony, we can easily make another 100 million. What I don't, and technically, can you spend more than 100 when you make those kinds of sales? Yes. But I wouldn't bank on that because, like Garnacho's sale is a one-time thing. We don't owe any money on him. Rashford's sale is a one-time thing. We don't owe any money on him. If you sell Antony in essence, you're gaining 18 million a year or what have you for the next couple of years. So it helps to fund that. So realistically, I believe in the end, without selling Bruno, we could probably get to the 200 million mark in transfers. Okay. We could probably get to the 200 million mark in transfers because I can't see any of those players being here next season. Garnacho's got to go. He has no business being here. What he's done is far worse than anything Rashford did. And I don't even think it's debatable. What he did is worse than anything Sancho's done, and I don't even think it's debatable. No, it's kombucha. It's kombucha. I just finished it. Keeping my gut healthy. He's got to go. He's got to go. 100% has to go. There's no justification for him to stay. None. Not at all. Has to go. You cannot continue like that. If we sell Bruno, yeah, look. I mean, Samiks, it's a crazy thought because it's like you're never going to spend 320, but yeah, if you sell your most valuable player in addition, it could go crazy. You know what I mean? Yes. The problem with that, though, I will say, Samiks, is that we don't have a ton of amortization on Bruno, so we sell him for 120 million. If we spent that money, we would be screwed next season. So realistically, I would suggest that we'll spend we'll end up between 150 and 200 in our spending total. All right, by end of summer, that's probably where we will end up. Yeah. That's probably where we'll end up. Now, if we somehow manage, like if we move Rashford, Garnacho, and Antony, if we were to somehow move Casemiro as well, in addition, not net, just total. I'm saying total. If we get all the sales done, that's where we'll probably end up. If we move Casemiro in addition, you can probably add another 50 million to that. So you're probably talking about 200 to 250, in that case. If you can somehow move Rasmus Højlund on as well, magically, I don't think you can because it's going to be a loan, then even better. Let's say we sell all these players and we have like 200-300 million who wants to join us. Doesn't help all the money if no one want to come. They will though, because the wages are still good, the brand is still good, the Premier League is still good. You can use whatever you want, Samiks. You're here all the time. Anything you want to take from me, and use and talk about, go for it, man. You're all good. Don't worry about it. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. I don't mind. No, but the reality is that there can be a lot of money to spend this summer if we move things right. Then because this thing about them being open to selling everyone is basically where an offer could come in is true. It is true. There's not a lot of people who have earned a place here. The thing is, it's not necessarily possible to sell everybody. But let's take a look here. And then we're kind of doing the financials now. So, let's just take a look here. All fun and games till a video of you handling that microphone goes viral. Yeah, that's okay. Anyone else not high on D-Lap? I'm not at all, but he's certainly better than Højlund. Let's just take a look. Like, let's say you look up front. Okay, here's the problem that I have. Dwayne, nothing letting Rashford go with a dead striker up top in a team with no goals was a bold rookie mistake. Would have been better than Asmus. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there, Dwayne. You're not wrong there. We certainly would have been better with Rashford here this season. Okay, no doubt about that. We would have been better with Rashford here this season. But let's look at this team. All right. I mean, look, I'm trying to look around who we could have left after selling. Because the other thing that was described to me. All right, I'll just give you a little bit of conversation. You know, because I've spoken to a few people of a few ideas about things, and one of the things that they're very open to is letting more players go and running with a slightly smaller squad. You know, like getting 5, 6 people in, letting 10 players go. You know, just having a better team of smaller players. One of the things that has stood out, maybe because of my video, because that was pretty strongly referenced almost directly by ownership, almost word for word, some of the shit I said. No, I'm just teasing. But I have to think that they're thinking in the same page as me when I made that video talking about how much of our wages are wasted, how much we pay to players that are not even on the pitch, that it was like half of our wages were people who weren't contributing anything at all. That is one of the things they were most upset about, is how much we were paying to these fringe bench players who never make an appearance, who do nothing for us, and it's like, why even have them? Why even have them? Why even do that? You know, the Ericssons, the Lindelofs, the things where, yeah, it's fine, they're in the last year of their contract, but you look at how many players were contributing, you know, so little. Like, I'm going to be real here. Like, this was the view. Casemiro, despite his revival, can't play in the Premier League. Okay? He cannot play in the Premier League. You know, how many times I said that his revival was pretty much down to being partnered with Ugarte? Well, it's a fact. He cannot play in the Premier League at a high level. That's an enormous amount of money being gone. Mason Mount barely played. Jadon Sancho not there. Ericsson barely played. Luke Shaw barely played. Lindelof barely played. You know, it's like there's such an enormous amount of money that has been wasted, and they're willing to let them all go. I'll tell you the only players who are very unlikely to get sold, like James, realistically speaking, do you think yesterday's result set us back 2 to 3 years? I think it would have sped up the process 1 to 2 years. Maybe a year and a half or to 2 years, it depends, right? But the only players that are that they won't sell are a lot of the guys that they just got. One, because it's just impossible, and all you're doing is losing out on money. With those players, you're taking a loss. And two, you know, obviously the top talents. For Bruno Fernandes, it's entirely up to him. But Casemiro, if there is a buyer, he will go. He will go. They're not going to sit there and say, oh my God, he has to stay or something like that. That is not the case. He's got to go. And they will let him go. Bruno, it's entirely up to him. Right now, their whole lead-in was still to keep him. That they want him to stay. They want him to be part of it. I personally said last night, you know, I was like, why would he stay? What for him? Why would he stay at this point? With how long, you know, it's like an abusive relationship for him. You know, why would he stay? What's he gonna win here if he wants to win things? It's gonna be a while until he can win anything. Why would he stay? From his perspective, I don't know. So we'll see about that. But they're not actively trying to sell Bruno at all. Okay, so it's gonna be on him. Mason Mount, if an offer or decent things comes in, Mason Mount will go. De Ligt will not go. Maguire will very unlikely to go. Ericsson's gone. Sancho's going one way or another. Luke Shaw, if an offer comes in for him, he will go. Mazraoui will stay. Lindelof is gone. Ugarte is not going anywhere. I mean, I'd be extremely surprised, but you'd also have to get a £35 million offer for him. Probably not happening. Amad Diallo's going nowhere. Lisandro Martinez is injured. He's not going anywhere. Andre Onana will go if an offer comes in for him. Lenny Yoro's obviously going nowhere. Xerxes is not being sold. They want to keep him. Rasmus Højlund will go as soon as possible. There is strong interest from Italy and from Inter. United have been looking at who else could be interested for a while, have been exploring who might be going for him. The strong possibility is that he could go on loan, maybe with an option as well. That's more affordable next season. Nobody's paying 45 million for him this year, so that's not going to happen. But there's a strong chance that he goes, but it might be a loan, unfortunately. Dallo will stay. Dallo is someone that Amram really likes, works really hard, has a good presence in the locker room, good squad player. Dallo will stay. Rashford will go. Johnny Evans is gone. Anthony will go. Garnacho will go. Heaton, is he staying an extra year? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Dorgu will stay. Malacia is gone, or will go, rather. Bayindir, strong chance that he is sold. Kobbie Mainoo, both sides want to stay. A big focus will be this summer on him improving his fitness, improving his athleticism, and hoping to find a way for him into the system. That's what everybody wants. If he decides he wants to leave, that's more on him. He is not being pushed out the door, I promise you that. Cheeto will obviously stay, and then you get into the youth and all of that kind of stuff. Aiden Heaven will stay. Toby Collier probably will be sold or loaned. Probably. I don't think Toby Collier has a long-term place in the team, but he could stick around given we don't owe anything on him. He's on low wages to I don't know what's the word for it. Make up numbers in the squad. So yeah, there's a lot of players that can go here, but I do believe that there's no way we're getting all of them out. But I think we'll get enough out, and it'll give us enough for to get to around that 200 million mark in terms of spending. They know they need to do it. They know they need to be good with it. They know they need to be willing to sell a lot of the players mentioned regardless. And they know that we're going to have to be, fine with doing that. So financially, that's kind of what I'm estimating as of today. But obviously it has to be done in sequence. The other thing that does add to our budget is this little windfall from Alvaro Carreras, 15 to 18 million in profit that we will be gaining from his move to Madrid. That's just good money. Just adds to the budget. That just helps. That's good. We'll take that. If when Greenwood moves, we'll get a portion of the fee there as well. But remember, it's not a full sell-on; it's a profitable one. So there's enough money to go. There's other add-ons, other little things that we might get as well. But yeah, there's enough to get things done. However, it is in sequence. Number 10, striker, sales. And then with sales, we can get more number 10, a midfielder, a goalkeeper, and then see what else we want to get through our whole project there. Got the women trying to win the World Sevens things in the semifinal. 2.5 million goes to the winners. Well, hopefully they put that budget towards them if they win that money, and they earn that money. Just keep it in the women's side. In terms of striker, obviously the two main targets were Gyökeres and Delap, and we started having a bunch of discussions about Delap in the last the last week to 2 weeks on it, when we were kind of pushing it. Now, one could look at it and say, which was discussed, it went back and forth, that we needed Champions League to get him. It was certainly viewed that way as most likely. That being said, from what I understand, they still want to try. We will find out after Sunday, I assume pretty quickly, whether it's possible or not. They would still like to try to get him. The thing that may be playing into our favor here, Anonymous Mango Kuna to be handed the number 10 from the get-go. Should be. Why not? If the number 10's free, right? We're going to try. The thing that can potentially play to our advantage here is that PSG are not in the race. He wants the Premier League, I believe. Chelsea are looking at Delap and Ekitike as well. Arsenal were the most strong in for him, but very strong sources say that they're going for Benjamin Šeško potentially as the priority because Arteta wants him. Like I said the other day, just go. Listen to Arteta. He knows best. Back your manager and take Benjamin Šeško. It could fall into our lap a little bit where there's not a better option. It could fall into our lap where there's not a better option for Gyökeres, and he says, it's not a bad option. I've been considering it. Fine, you don't have Champions League, but I'll help you get there. I will help you get there. Yeah, hiring a sporting director to ignore him and get Arteta strikers, the most Arsenal thing ever. Yep. So we will see. And they're trying to buy Rodrigo. We don't have the money straight away to buy him. We might. After the final Sunday with the money from everything, we might. We might need to rush another sale out the door or something like that. We might. Would you want him if we were a second option? Yeah, I mean, look at Lenny Yoro, right? Like, I don't think it's an issue because we got to understand the position we're in. Lenny Yoro could have waited for Madrid. Do I regret signing Lenny Yoro? No. Because they're professionals. You know what I mean? As long as they have a good attitude, I don't mind being their second choice and then coming to us. I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. I don't think he would join unhappy. It's not like a Di Maria situation. Gyökeres has been in England before for a while. Spent a lot of time in England. It's a manager he knows, a system he knows, a big team, good wages, good fee, all of that. I think it's great. So no concerns from my perspective, but we will try. We will still try and find out if there's any chance we could get it done. Obviously, Delap is there. Obviously, Delap is the affordable option. I'm still a bit confused because English journalists have been pretty cagey, but even the other day, Ornstein said that even Delap might be dependent to some degree on Champions League. And so I'm like, do we even know that Delap isn't dependent on Champions League for sure? Do we even know that? Like, I don't think we actually know that because based on some of the comments, it's a little bit confused. Yeah, everyone who wants Delap, there's a lot of crossover between the Twitter tacticos who want Delap as the best player and the people who figured that Bruno Casemiro was for sure the best midfield and that if we just had progressors in the middle, everything would be fine. Sometimes things don't work out the way that that your average tactico believes. So we'll see, I guess. We just don't know that. That I really don't know. It's been mentioned to me both ways. Like he may or may not. He may or may not want Champions League. But then it's also like, well, if he can get Champions League with Chelsea, even if Champions League isn't a make break, can we convince him over Chelsea? I don't know. Can we convince him? I don't have the answer to that. I don't think anybody does. So as of yet, because he's going to go meet with other clubs, he's going to go talk with other clubs, he's going to go do all of that. Maybe he doesn't choose us. Maybe he doesn't choose us. Maybe he doesn't. We really don't know. But he's a good value. I would take him for sure, and I'd much rather have him than I would much rather have him than not have a striker. What if we didn't get Gyökeres and Delap, and we couldn't get either of them? Midfield 2. Yeah, we can. I will talk to you about the rest of them in a minute. If we didn't get either of them, look, Owen, like you have Onana, you have Amrabat, you have Højlund, you have the misses are piling up for the people who are supposedly experts. Okay, not supposedly experts because they're not, but for the people who appear to be experts or want to be experts. One second. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm just taking a. Sorry about that, Chief. No, you could not. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, Noah. What was I saying? Grubhub. You heard everything. Yeah, yes, totally. What was I in the middle of saying? If we don't get Delap or Gyökeres, one possibility is that we go with some sort of like stopgap or veteran one, and we move on to someone like Brian and Mbumo. That is a possibility because the prices for some of these other guys is so high. There's not some great value in there. And that we may move on to other positions. We definitely want another forward on top of a striker. We want on top of Cunha, on top of a striker. We want another forward anyway if we can get to it. So we'd be willing to go spend that kind of money. Some of the names that I will be looking at, and I think this depends on whether we get a striker or not in terms of how much money we've got there, is Mbumo is obviously a more expensive option. Mastantuono is somebody we like. Then there's still names that we've been interested in the past, like Nene Dorgelis, and all of that. So, yeah, I would consider that. Yeah, I would consider that as a possibility, right? That we may, what did I say? That we could potentially not get a striker, and go for somebody else there, but we also want another one anyway. We want another forward, another forward anyway. From that perspective. So I think that the names that I had on my list were Mbumo, Mastantuono, Dorgelis, and Cherki. But I really don't think Cherki is a deal that we're doing. I really don't. And he's also going to be more expensive. He's not going to be 20 million. It'll be more like 40 or something like that. But yeah, I don't think Cherki. I'm still keeping Dorgelis in the back of my mind because he plays on both sides, and he's a good, strong young player. Mastantuono would obviously be ideal, but definitely Mbumo would be really, really good. So we do want another number 10. But again, it's going to be in a sequence. We get our Cunha, we get our striker ideally. We get our striker ideally, or not, and then we move on to another forward, as well as sales as well. The problem with, again, a lot of the striker targets, I don't know the answer to this. So if I like, I'm saying this because I don't know. I don't know that there are solid ones after Delap and Gyökeres from a perspective of what we'd be willing to pay for them. And so from the conversations that I've had, it's leaned more towards that we might move to somebody else instead, to one of those 10s that we've had on the list for quite some time. But we also kind of want 3 total forwards in general. So yeah. Are you 100% sure that Amram sees Ahmad as his long-term right wing back? Based on all the plans, that's why the final was so confusing, Alexis. I'm not going to lie. Like, why would we want third? Why would we want 3 forwards if Ahmad is going to be in the front line? And that's without selling Bruno. It doesn't make any sense. Why would we want to add 3 in that sense? It's too many. Ahmad, it just doesn't make sense. Like, spending the money there if Ahmad is a 10 doesn't really make sense to me. So, yeah. So we want all of that. It's Dorgelis. Nene Dorgelis. We were linked to him by Fabrizio in January. He's still just sitting on my list because he's somebody we actually did try to buy. Like, we did. We tried to buy him. So he's still sitting there as a potential option. Mateta will be very expensive, 50, 60 million. So we want a bunch of forwards. We need a mess of forwards. We know what our kind of our main targets are. We know what we could go for. After that, we move to the midfield. If we can get some midfield signings done, we want to get at least one midfielder, ideally. So let's say you were to get Cunha and Delap, that's like 90 to 100 million. Let's say you got another forward for 30, 40 million. Then you still have 50, maybe 50, 60 million if all sales go well there in that position. Ederson is still somebody the club really like. They'd have to convince him. We'd have to have the money for him. Phil on a podcast earlier said that he believed we might make a move for him. He is somebody we really like and have been interested in. Obviously, there's Wharton, but he's going to be unobtainably expensive. He's going to be unobtainably expensive, this summer, and I don't think we have a hope in hell. Um, um, yeah, I don't think we have a hope in hell of getting some of these other guys. Um, yeah, I don't think we could get Wharton. Other names are we haven't heard anything about in recent times, but I know that we've looked at in the past. Obviously, there's Anton Stack, who who were linked to by Christopher Michel. There's Hayden Hackney that we've been scouting for a while, who I would still love to see United go for. There's Douglas Luiz, who could be available, that United have looked at and is Premier League experienced. There's Ugo Chukwu, who United have scouted in the past as well. So, listing out names in terms of alternatives, I do not know if we will go for them yet, but these are all names that we have actively been interested in or linked to at one point or another in the not too distant past. We could afford it if with the right sales in place, we could get all of those things that we want, and get there. So we'll see. Xavi Simons, I think, is somebody that potentially, let's say we miss out on a striker, we go for another 10. Number 10 could be of interest, but I believe he would be so expensive, prohibitively so, that I think we're not looking to spend that kind of money at the 10. Yeah. When there's updates on the ownership, I will give it to you. In terms of the specifics, that's all. When there are specifics that are worth mentioning, then I will tell you. I don't think he would want to join us either. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to go over today. I think that was all from my list of notes. I think that was it for my list of notes. And then keeper. As I've shared many times, we do not have ultimate confidence in the keepers. There's a decent likelihood Bayindir can be sold. There's a decent Onana's less likely just because of the expense and the cost around him, and whether he wants to go or not. There is truth, or has been truth in the interest in Emiliano Martinez, in Emi Martinez. There's definitely truth in Vanya Savic, in Lamens, in Joan Garcia. Trafford's probably off the table entirely. I feel like I'm missing one name. But yeah, we want a keeper. We do. Absolutely want a keeper. So busy, but it's going to be in stages now. I mean, this is the difference between getting Champions League and not getting Champions League. With Champions League, there's more we could have done before selling. Without it, we can only do a couple of things. And then we have to sell. And then we can make a signing. And then we have to keep doing it on an as-we-go basis towards the end. So selling in June is going to be absolutely vital. Getting a lot of sales lined up in June is going to be massive. It's going to have a huge impact on our summer because we need it. We need to do it, but at the same time, we can't keep bringing in most of our players late in the window. We can't. We shouldn't be in August signing our players. Could we sell or release 10 to 12 players? Sure. I think we're gonna release. I think we'll release. Obviously, we're gonna release for sure. Ericsson, Sancho, release or sell Ericsson, Sancho. Lindelof, Ericsson, Sancho, Lindelof, Evans, Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, Malacia, one of the keepers, and then probably at least one more sale on top of that. So that's like 10. That's like 10. How many are we going to sign? Not 10. We don't need to replace them with 10. We'll probably do 5 players to do that. The biggest, most important sales that are the most realistic in terms of selling are Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, and Garnacho to get us to that mark of how much we can spend. And then the keeper to get a keeper. The keeper to get a keeper is important. So, yeah. Well, a lot of them are going to go for free. A lot of them have been out on loan and all of that. But a huge focus for this year of the people we want to sign is also, is the mentality factor. The mentality factor, the factor of getting winners in, but mostly, getting fighters in. When I say winners, I mean more fighters. Getting athletes who are physically ready to fight, to compete, to battle, to, win their duels, to win their one-on-ones, to win their, approaches. We're tired of the club, Amorim, everybody is tired of United going into games and looking slower, weaker, and bitchier than ever before. And getting beaten in everything. Yeah, I don't like those pieces. Vague, unnamed reports on a number of players, okay? Well, who are the number of players? Who are they? If you say a number of players feel that Ruben Amorim is overconfident in his approach, they cannot understand why he puts so much faith in a playing system that's not suited to the squad he inherited. Okay, who are they? Come on. Who are they? If it's not Bruno, if it's not Dallo, if it's not Shaw, if it's not probably not Ahmad, I'm positive it's not Ahmad, to be clear. If it's not Maguire, if it's not Casemiro, who is it? Then, if it's not Ugarte, who played in his squad previously under the same system and grew up in it essentially, then who is it? That's why I cannot stand these types of pieces, because you already know who it is. It's the people you don't want to be there. And thanks for the gifted membership. Yeah, it's the people you don't want to be there. Anybody who's complaining you don't want to be there, I'm positive it's not Lenny Yoro. He's grown incredibly in this system. It doesn't suit this current squad, does it? We're 16th. Who cares? If you want to change your squad to suit this batch of players, you are a fool. Imagine wanting to change your system for Garnacho. Change your system for Rasmus Højlund. Change your system, for Mason Mount. Change your system for these individuals. No, thank you. Are you joking? Like, that's suicidal. Just end your career right there. You are finished. You want to change for those people. That's crazy. I would not in hell would I ever change for those people. Amorim faced the struggle at Sporting. Yeah, they turned over like 20-something people within the first year. Can't we just violate PSR or find loopholes? I mean, we could sell the women's team. We could violate PSR and take a penalty, but I think it's a little more complicated than that. To knowingly violate the rules, I think it's a little more complicated to that. You change it for Mainu? I wouldn't. Mainu's 20. Mainu's 20. He still has a ways to go to develop as a player. And he started the season in a 4-2-3-1 that he was struggling really hard. Like that's the part people gloss over. We started the season with Kabi Mainu playing, and you had most people saying he didn't look good. I'm not saying Kabi Mainu's a bad footballer, not in the slightest. He struggled with the 4-2-3-1 to start the season under Ten Hag. He was working extremely hard and getting burnt out. He was highest in Europe for tackles. The work rate was crazy, and he got burnt out and he got an injury. Well, I don't know what to say. Like yeah, it was Ten Hag's, but hold on a second. But the thing is that I agree with you. But now you're saying another system doesn't fit. He's 20. He's 20. He can find a way to grow as a player to fit into multiple systems. He's just 20. He's just 20. You know, he's just 20 years old. He has time to develop as a player. We don't have to rush it. He doesn't have to be a starter next year. He doesn't have to be the guy immediately. He's 20 years old. He can grow. He can become a more well-rounded player. Because you can say, oh, well, he has to play in a flat 3. Okay. What does that mean? You don't know what that means necessarily. One sec. Right. Okay. Sorry about that again. Thanks for sitting there. But yeah, anyway, again, I'm being made redundant by Ineos, yeah. No, but look, the reality is, you don't change your team to fit this group of players. You just don't, because there's not enough good players to justify that. In addition, you don't hire a coach for a single player. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, you look at, I don't know what anybody's saying that is even suggesting. Like, you think that like Lamine Yamal wouldn't have found his way to make it into whoever's coaching Barcelona? You know, like Cristiano Ronaldo changed plenty under Sir Alex. Plenty. as an individual and as a player. He adjusted an enormous amount. He's miles better than Kabi Mainu at the moment. All right, like you don't. It's not how it works, man. Like players change. Players can adjust themselves utilizing essentially their if they have the talent, then they're not pigeonholed into this teensy tiny role that will never work. If they're good enough, then they will figure out how to become more well-rounded, how to make more of themselves, and to get into it. So yeah, we've developed. Yeah, develop is probably a better word, to round out their game, to become more important. I still think Kabi Mainu next to a hardworking 6 will work in the long run when the team gets good. In the right system, with the right setup, with the right players around them, with a bit more fitness, with a bit more athleticism in his body. But that's what's going to have to be happening for any English team. Tell me this, all right? You send Kabi Mainu right now to Liverpool. Does he fit into their midfield? You're kidding yourself if you think so. He does not have the energy, the athleticism, and the physical nature to fit into Liverpool's midfield. No way. He does not have the skill set for that right now. As a player, he's not getting in there. You send him over to, I don't know, to Arsenal's. Where's he fitting? He's not replacing Odegaard. He does not have that skill set. He's not a party. Maybe he could replace Declan Rice. I'm not sure about that. He does not have the physicality and athleticism for that midfield either. So where does he actually fit yet? Until he adapts, until he grows a bit more physically, athletically. But he should be allowed to, without making the decision that he's not good enough. You don't have to. We don't have to make that decision as of yet. It's like just grow. Just grow. Let a player grow. Let a player develop when they have that talent without having to kill them. We don't have to make that final assessment on Kabi Mainu yet to say that that's an issue. It's all okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do that. It's a defense of Kabi Mainu, because you have too many people looking at it and saying, if he doesn't make it now, he'll never make it or something. Why? That's just irrelevant. It's not how it works. Give it time. Give it time. He doesn't have to be the main man, and eventually he will work his way into being the main man if we give him the time to do so properly. And again, so far as I've heard, the focus this summer, the focus is improve his athleticism, get fully fit, and find his place into the team. Okay? Because right now, I don't care who you are, he's not getting in at any top 6 club because he is lacking in those areas. And that's fine. He's young. He's not getting in over Enzo. He's not getting in over Caicedo at Chelsea. You start going to the big clubs, you're not going to see this obvious place for Kabi Mainu in the midfield. It's not going to. It's not there. That's fine. He's young. Let him grow up a bit. Let him develop. Let him add to all of these things as a part of him and become a great player. It's okay, man. It's all good. That is all fine. So that's what's wanted. That's the intention. We'll see where we go with that. Michel Leon, he's slow. Well, he's not fast. That's for sure. His physicality and endurance are low, but exactly. Give it time. Give it time. It's always difficult. Just let it be. Paul Scholes didn't feature correctly until he was 22. I mean, I'm sure it's not the only example of players we could probably go through United midfielders in the past and Paul Scholes started his first season starting 20 plus games was when he was 22. And that's Scholes. Michael Carrick spent a season at 22 relegated with West Ham before joining Tottenham. Didn't start for United's midfield until he was 25. It's okay, man. It's okay. It's all good. I'm just saying give him a break, you know? Give him a break. But yeah, I mean, every time anybody says anything like that, yeah, there you go. I'll make a post that will piss people off. Regardless, the simplicity of it for me is that when it comes to the squad, when it comes to the people, when it comes to everything like that, all the time people have been continuously adapting their team to the squad and their system to the squad. And it gets worse and it gets worse and we get 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 worse because the squad is worse. It's the opposite. We need to adapt the squad to a system and build the correct way. You got an hour or so left for me to jump on the show and rant. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. But I hear you. I hear you. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about anything. Ole was too nice. Ten Hag's tactics aren't good. 3-4-3 isn't good. Players moan every time. Yeah. Well, that's just how it is. Maybe Ederson and Manu and the pivot could work with Ederson. It could. I still think it lacks a little bit defensively, but it could. The barbecue happened without players, I guess. Maybe. But look, I mean, who are the leaks really? Like I said, it's probably a couple of players. And those are people that I don't care about. Squad builder, realistic starting 11 for August. Sure. People were telling me not to do it, but you donated, so I'll give it to you. And then we'll end it there, okay? So let's say we get Delap as a more realistic target here. And we've got Xerxes on the bench, who I still think is going to be a really nice option. Sorry. I don't know. Who's our left 10? I feel like I can't even think anymore, honestly. My brain is rattled. I'm assuming we don't sell Bruno. I'll just stick Ahmad as a backup here. Wait, no, we were going to buy a third one. Yeah. That helps, because this guy can cover both sides. I'm just going to toss him in here as an affordable option. Okay. I'm going to just look at a reasonably affordable team here, okay? Ahmad Diallo. Ahmad Diallo. I feel like I've built this team before, I'm not gonna lie. I'm assuming Casemiro doesn't go. I'm assuming not an enormous amount of spending with this system, by the way. I'll keep Yoro on the left, but he played on the right, didn't he? whatever. I'll put in Delict so I don't have people hating me over Maguire. Fan service, compromising on my moral principles as a human being. A human being, James. A human being. Okay. I could maybe put Euro or Delict over there too as like a backup, but it doesn't matter. I know, but I can't keep adding people. I can't keep adding people. So it could be, but Lissandra won't be back in August, so I didn't put him there. But yes, in the by maybe when Lissandro comes back, we don't know what he'll be. It could end up being Heaven and Euro, you know. But yeah, I think this is a realistic team. It's 90, 120, 110, 160. I think it's realistic without much by way of sales. This team is crap. Okay, sorry. You might want to find another team then. because believe it or not, a majority of this will be correct by next season. We are going down. Okay. It's a hell of a lot better than the one we played this year. So, I mean, it's funny. That's why I hate doing it, because then people fucking cry. But did you not see what we ran with this season? This alone is 20 more goals. This is why I hate doing the lineups. And maybe it can't get Europe. We don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Me, I like it. I don't know what's so bad about it. I think it all comes back to people whining their fucking faces off about the midfield. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I really am. I'm so tired of it. No invention against the low block. All right. Can you please tell me where comparably are Arsenal personnel wise so much better against a low block personnel wise? Like where are all the people that like someone like Arsenal has that makes them so good against a low block? Can you tell me? Because Bruno, Odegaard, Delap over, they don't even have a striker. Cunha over Martinelli. Ahmad, Saka. Okay. We have better forwards if we do this than Arsenal have this season. You understand that, right? It's not their personnel, it's their system. It's a system 5 years in, yes, with literally worse personnel than what I've just put on the screen. And they have no problem breaking down low blocks. So the point is, it's not just, it's the type of personnel and the type of system and the time together to figure it out. Right? That's the difference. Yeah, it's not creativity with Arsenal. It's pressure through protection, retention. They're less at risk of being caught in the break and conceding. Yeah. It's sustained pressure. Well, what I like is that you have two of the best high pressing, counter pressing midfielders in the world to back that system up. And that is one of the reasons we cannot break down a deep block. There's the creative aspect of it, but I'll tell you what the problem with what a huge problem is whenever we're facing teams. I didn't say Ahmad over Saka. I'm just saying that it's comparable. Is that When you play Bruno and Casemiro here, every time you lose the ball, it's going to take you 5 minutes to get it back. That's the truth. The success of that team, I would agree. If you had Gyökeres or Osimhen, I feel a lot better about it. This is not a title-winning team, but it's not nearly as bad as people let on. One of the problems we really, really strongly do have is that we do not sustain pressure. And it's not just about creativity. It's about sustained attacking, sustained pressure. You look at like the Tottenham game, they sat in this mid to deep block for most of the game. We didn't pin them to start actually like getting the ball into the box until like the 85th minute. If you go back and watch when that game, we couldn't sustain anything. We'd lose the ball, they'd faff around a bit, kick it around a bit, run about a bit. We can't. PSG, they're super good at it, at sustaining pressure, at attacking constantly. Arsenal, constant. Liverpool, constant. Yeah, it's sustaining pressure. Exactly, LA. I agree with you. There's a couple different factors in how you break a low block down, and one of them is how long does it take you to get the ball back. That's one factor. And the other factor is runners through the lines. The thing I want to say about both of these midfielders that, again, I really did not like about the midfield yesterday is how many times did you see Bruno and Casemiro in the box? Never. They didn't get into the box. Because Casemiro doesn't have the legs to go deep and go forwards, right? So only on set pieces could Casemiro get himself into the box. Now, I want you to note the goals that happened in the previous legs of Europa. The first goal against Lyon, Ugarte scores by crashing the box. The first goal against Bilbao, Ugarte heads it over to Casemiro, crashing the box. When we can win the ball high, we can move everybody up. When we have legs in the midfield, we move everybody up and we add people to the attack. Okay? We can't add people to the attack without an energetic, physical midfield that wins the ball up high. That's why it appears so defensive so often. But if you watch Bilbao, if you watch Lyon, you won't see this lack of numbers in the box that you saw against Tottenham for much of the game. You won't. Because we were able to do that. So that's what was really, really quite baffling to me about what happened yesterday. We can't score, I know, but look at where the players were played. Look at the positions. We didn't get ourselves forward. You need numbers. And look, I got to tell you, like, I like Amram a lot. You guys know how I feel about him. I was shocked at what he did yesterday. Absolutely shocked. Because his approach that has made his entire career, his approach that has created him as a coach that has won him multiple leagues and that he made a name as, is built around getting numerical advantages in the attack by running a bully midfield. It's fundamental. It's fundamental to his entire approach. So regardless of what you think of the players, he tried to run a game plan that he's no good at. And that's why it looked so bad. Okay? That's why I'm so surprised by how he did that. I'm so surprised at how he did that because, again, a bully midfield, when he plays teams that aren't going to have a lot of the ball, a bully midfield that wins the ball high and attacks the box with these extra guys all the time. I can show you so many sporting games watching where Yeoman and Morita are always attacking, always winning the ball high, always doing it. And I think he went for experience, and I think he overthought it. And I think he said, well, Mount's experience, Casemiro's experience, Bruno's experience, these are guys that I trust in big moments to show up for me, and they didn't. And he lost it on that basis. But I think that is a matter of overthinking it, because I think you still have to play. It was too like, I'm going to hope these players will bail me out type of thing. And big mistake, Mr. Ruben Amorim, too naive. Never trust Manchester United players to bail you out. Too naive. Go with what you usually do that has worked, that has won you games, the setup and the way that has done it, because relying on these players will kill you. It will absolutely kill you. You cannot trust them. I don't care who they are. You played the occasion, not the game. Yep. And look, it happens to some managers. Some of the best managers do that. They get too into the tactical aspects of it, or too into certain things where they overthink it, and they do all of that. I said beforehand in Discord, in the channel, I said that this to me was Pep against City. This was his Pep against City mistake, dropping his number 6, and changing it. I think it was his Pep against City mistake, overthinking it and changing the team that got you there, and dropping legs from your midfield. Sir Alex did it. Yep, it's happened to all the great managers have done it. I'm not saying that makes you great by making the mistakes. Every good manager makes mistakes as well, but it's still a mistake. It was still a mistake, and I think the point with it is this, right? Amorim cannot start now changing the way he plays, or we're screwed. That would be the most disappointing thing for me. I would much rather Amorim continues what he did that made him who he is, and get sacked, than start to try to fuck with it, because it's not going to work. It's too early to change it. You go whole hog in your system next season with the players, and then adjust, and then see who you need to sell further, who else you need to change, and do all of that. But changing it now is to me disastrous. I will also say, personally, by the way, I'm not putting the goal on Onana, but I bet you it wouldn't happen if we had a different keeper in net. That's just my opinion. I just don't think that it's like I was saying beforehand, that Onana, he may do what's expected of him, but that's the best you can expect from him. He's never going to do what you don't expect. He's never going to bail you out. He's never going to do something that you say, "Oh, thank God we have that keeper." He's just going to do at best the ordinary. And I think that he, I think he could have done better on the goal too. No doubt. I'm not putting it on him because it comes off of Luke Shaw. The error starts from Bruno giving the ball away pointlessly. I remember during the live I said, Bruno gives the ball away pointlessly, and then I said, now you having Bruno, because he's your 6, track back into your own box, and now we're screwed. And I remember that. I remember saying that on the live as it happened. And because he doesn't close the space down properly, doesn't mark the people properly. I knew that they were going to make runs in and attack that same space, and then they did after he lost the ball. And then they hit their cross in, and then everybody fucked it up basically from that point in time. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to end it off here, guys. I appreciate you. It's been almost 2 hours, which is an enormously long time. But I wanted to have a nice, calm discussion today. Do a whole summary of everything we've talked about, get through all of it. So we kind of know where we stand now following this loss going into summer. So we know where we're going. So we know what we can kind of expect. I think we'll find out a lot more after this weekend, once the league is done, once the cup is over for Sporting and Benfica. And and then we'll kind of learn on the striker front, and then we'll go there. I will be on for the Villa game. I will do a pre-match at some point tomorrow for the Villa game. I will do something this weekend. I will do the Villa watch along, and then podcast next week. All the normal stuff next week as we get into summer. Um, every day I'll have something as long as I'm around. Okay. Thank you guys, and I will